Hey, we are
Morning.
live, hopefully, in GSIC on
Well,
LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and Instagram. I've remembered them all.
you might remember them all, but I'm not entirely sure we're live on GSIC at the moment, just because the platform software is playing up. But hopefully, the GSIC logs should have been redirected over to YouTube, or they may be watching, as you said, on one of the other platforms. Yeah, apologies if the technical side of things is playing up a bit, but I think we're live. And yeah, I will get this embedded into GSIC as soon as possible.
Lovely.
Mm.
So during the week, I've started recording a podcast, which I look fat and ugly in, but anyway, it's recording. So really bad camera angle on the first few. So ignore that, guys. Ignore that. And yeah, we'll get there.
Well, the
Let's
content's
just
good.
keep
I've
it going.
had a behind the scenes look at it, and the content is there. Each episode is about, well, the first three are about half an hour long, aren't they? 20 minutes,
Yeah,
half
I
an
think
hour.
one of them I went off on a tangent, so it was about 50 minutes long. Because
Oh wow.
I just started going "Wah," and kept talking, but I'm trying to make them about 30 minutes long. So, and they're kind of thoughts and stuff that have come up over the years and stuff that I want to make people think about, not just in trading, but in life. So,
Mm.
yeah.
And so, what's the podcast called, and where can people find it?
Okay, so it's called Uncharted, and they'll be able to find it on X. They'll be able to find it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Excellent. And when do we
Possibly
think?
YouTube as well. So yeah,
Yeah, that makes
maybe not
sense.
the ugly ones.
And when do we think that it will be released?
It is dropping on Thursday. Woo. So yeah.
Hopefully, yeah, if technology works and all of that, then
Yeah, if technology works, it'll be dropping. And started recording my courses. So we've got an emotions course, which is, I don't know if there's an emotions course in crypto, but it's a very important thing to understand why you do things, why you kind of don't have stop losses, or you cut trades short, or you are constantly losing and then doubting your abilities. So yeah, that's a very, very important course. I've got an Elliott Wave course coming as well, and a beginners course. So all happening. While it's been
a
quiet,
lot
I'm
going
super
on.
busy.
I think the key is in that phrase, while it's been quiet, because it does feel like it's been quiet for a while. There's a bit of drama with the Bybit
Yeah.
hack earlier last week. But yeah, otherwise, what are your thoughts on the market?
Yeah, so it's Groundhog Day again. So we're day 103 on Bitcoin Groundhog Day.
Mm.
I think in 2020, it's got a kind of a slightly longer feel to this bull run. It's weird, but I think we might go outside of our 4 years. I think we might get an extra year out of this one. So it's just the way the market's moving and how it's sort of, stagnating at the moment, and, initial patterns is showing that it may extend a little bit. And with being a super cycle, that is very possible. So Bybit hack didn't sort of cause much of a sort of a disaster due to the fact that we've got Merkle-Tree in place. We've got, proof of funds. Obviously, those funds have gone. But, a lot of those weren't investor funds. They came from the cold wallet. So it's not a huge issue. A lot of these big exchanges do have insurance as well. So depending on how that happened and whether it was Lazarus, which is a Korean hacking group, and
North
they've
Korean, I
got
believe.
protection. Sorry, North Korean.
Yeah, North Korean, I believe.
Yeah.
And yes, I thought it was handled very well, or it seemed to be handled very well by Bit. A good
Yeah, it
lesson
seemed to be
in
handled
handling
very.
those sort of events. And I know 1.5 billion is a lot to us
It's a
and to
massive
most
amount.
people. It
Yeah.
is, but I think in respect for the exchange, that there are numbers that might be on the higher end, but probably don't phase them as much as it would if it was us trying to make 1.4 billion.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably going to take us a lot of time to make. So when we're looking at that, it's a major hiccup for that exchange, but it's not, massively devastating. So when we go back to sort of 2017 and we had a Bitfinex hack, a similar thing happened there where, we had a bit of a market dip. It didn't essentially implode the market, and everything carried on. So it took a few years for customer funds to come back on that one, and that's where Leo token was born. But it didn't crash, and it's the same for Bybit. So I think we've come a long way in that respect, where we're not having events like FTX, we're not having events like Mt. Gox, and hopefully that continues to happen. That's why I recommend that if you're going to be using an exchange, it's a centralized exchange and it's got all the checks in place. So there's an article in the Moon Mag, themoonmag.com, or if you're on Twitter, Crypto Moon Mag, and have a look at that, because that explains what I look for when you're going for a centralized exchange, and what sort of stuff they need to have in place. We've got MiCA laws coming in to the European Union, and that's caused a hiccup this year for Tether. They're slowly moving through that. USDC has stepped up, and so the laws are tightening up, but the key players are, rising to meet those challenges. So it's been quite good.
Okay, so did Bybit make their mark on the charts at all, or do they look like nothing?
MNT pulled back a lot. So when we're looking at that's their token. So when we're kind of looking for that sort of issue, that was probably the only movement we did see in the market. Obviously we had a pullback across, it was like a couple of percent for BTC, a couple of percent. I think ETH pulled back the most with 10%. So we can see, I've just got, hang on 2 seconds, take some stuff off. We can see MNT up on here, and this is our pullback where the news was released with the Bybit hack. So it's not had an ugly retrace. So it's a 25% retrace. Didn't break the low. Has bounced. Possibly still has one more wave to go. But we're seeing that across the market. We haven't quite finished this Groundhog Day yet, but we're getting there. So that's quite a reasonable pullback, considering they had a massive hack. So over $1 billion is huge.
Absolutely, yeah, it doesn't look that bad at all. Okay, shall we jump into our favorite coin? Is it our favorite coin?
Is it our favorite? It's like very annoying at the moment. It's sideways. We're
Our
still
favorite
in Batman
stable coin,
mode.
is it?
It's our favorite stable coin at the moment. So it's practicing, like I said in one of the BTC updates the other day, that it's practicing its chi $1 at a time.
Yeah, well, maybe I need to practice that more, because it's giving me the opposite kind of emotions. But let's take a look.
All right, let me get my glasses on so I can see these tiny numbers. Oh, good morning from Brazil. Hello. And we've got Pessoa. Hi. So jump in and say hi, and I've got something special for you guys at kind of halfway through. So let's have a look. Let's jump into Bitcoin. It's in exactly the same spot, I think, as it was last week. It's probably just had one more touchdown to this region. Didn't break my blue pivot. Might have another touchdown to like 93,800. We want it to kind of hang around there. If it does, it's going, if it breaks that next stop down, as I said last week, is about 88,500, and then it should continue up. We're getting a lot more buy pressure. We can see that the 200 MA has come up a little bit from this support. So it was trending sort of a bit lower. So we're getting some more buy pressure coming in. We've got a lot of wash trading happening at the moment. So what that means, one of the guys in the group picked that up, but that happens a lot in these periods, which just means that exchanges are buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling within these ranges. That it just literally causes the volumes to stay stable. And when they want you to go into a coin, you'll see that, you'll get a message if you've got sort of messages and alerts on your exchanges that the volume in a certain coin has rised 2,000%. That's probably because the exchanges are wash trading it. But anyway, so Bitcoin, no update. It's pretty much sitting where it was last week. We don't want these indicators to start crossing down because that would probably mean we're coming down a little bit lower. So when we go up to the weekly, we're looking a bit better. It's still looking quite nice. We're just kind of trending sideways. We haven't even broken the EMAs. They're still coming down. So this EMA is sitting at 90,000. So just be aware of that. That may be our wick that we do get to that region. Have some orders just sitting there if you're wanting to get into BTC, because you might just get some low orders in that range. But once we start sort of turning down in that, we don't want to sort of turn down too much, because we don't want these EMAs to cross down, because a lot of algos work on those, and as soon as that happens, then we get a lot of sort of shorts placed, which could be good and bad. It could make it go down, but then it could be rocket fuel for us to go up. So but it does look like we're trading in the diamonds still. It's still very, 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 very boring, and hopefully that changes. So BLX is showing that we're coming up to my purple line, which is a key point in the 4-year cycle. So that comes around the 3rd of March. So that is when we should start to get some movement and some momentum happening here. So normally it just doesn't trend so much sideways, but we can see that it does happen from time to time. We do get sideways sort of momentum happening. So this was, if we go right back to when we had the halving, and we kind of trended in this range forever. So this is 2019 right until like almost 2 years later. So yeah. So 3rd of June to September, so 18 months, we trended sideways. So hopefully we don't do that now, because we're, still in this bull run and this super cycle, and we're still right on target for everything to start moving. It's just, second and fourth wave corrections are so boring, especially fourth wave ones. So still got the projections, we're still holding the levels, we're holding above that support, so it's all looking good. Bitcoin dominance is starting to rise, so with that kind of happening, that does mean that we might see some money move into Bitcoin over the next little bit to help it sort of push up as we're coming to that pivotal point on that 4-year cycle. So that is looking really good. We still haven't got this ABC on the total. So this may go to this point here at about 3.61, break through this resistance here, or it could just go to 3.34 and pull back. So if we're looking at BTC, that kind of means perhaps we've got a wave comes up, hits about 100K, rejects, and comes down to about 90. So that would be the same sort of momentum as we would see with the total happening in this ABC with a pullback here. Obviously, the pullback is obvious. It's bigger because the whole market pulls back when Bitcoin pulls back. So, and that aligns with the I keep saying this, one last wave. So, same for Ethereum. Perhaps we get one last touch, 3070, and then a pullback to 255, and then we are off and running. SWE, we had a look at last week, so we're still waiting for this fourth wave to complete. It hasn't quite finished yet. So that shows a bounce probably to about 4.2 coming shortly. XNO is sitting on a daily 200 MA, so that's a really strong sort of region that it should see a bounce in this part. ENA coming back down, we want it to hold about 38 here and then continue up. When we go down to lower timeframes, we're starting to see some bullish divergence coming in, some hidden bullish divergence. We can see we've got it on the MACD, we've got it on the RSI, and this is starting to look really nice. So this is one that I would be entering very soon. I think it's probably got one more tiny wave down and then it's about to take off. HBAR, same. It's got a wave down to 18, could come up and test 25 first and then come back down. So the wave up is not guaranteed. It's going to depend on what direction Bitcoin wants to go. So Litecoin, I think, will come back down and test the 100, which is 110 before heading up. Now, Litecoin tends to move just before Bitcoin. So this is a chart to watch if you want to know the overall direction for Bitcoin, because Litecoin goes, Bitcoin goes, and then the rest of the market goes. And Telcoin, now this is one that is looking mighty fine at the moment and one I'm keeping an eye on because it looks like it potentially has a fourth wave triangle in this region and might be due to take off. I have two patterns on this. So we've got a triangle, which is essentially almost complete. Now there is a pattern that forms a wedge, and that would look like, let me get my Elliott waves. Let me get the right one. So we've got that A, B, C, D, E, which could come back down to that 0.5, which is about 86. So, and that's our potential for our wedge on this one as well. So depending on what the rest of the market does, Telcoin tends to go as well a lot of the time before the rest of the alts do. And we do get a lot of momentum that way. So there's a few sort of coins that we can watch to sort of see, okay, this one's moving, looks like Bitcoin's about to move. So the key is to watch this resistance break here. It's at that point. If we break up above that, then we want to be jumping into Telcoin. If not, it's probably coming back to that 0.5 on the fibs, which is 0086. So yeah, that's probably about all the interesting looking altcoins we've got. Most of them are not terribly interesting at the moment.
One thing I did notice back on the Bitcoin chart was, I don't know if it's relevant anymore or if it ever was, but you have one line which looks like the typical parabolic curve that we used to place on, or used to place on those alts in the last bull run to show how they tend to sweep up and round. Do you think that's got anything to do with this Bitcoin chart? Or
yeah, it definitely does. So this is the parabolic curve in purple here. So And it does often come back to touch. We can see that it's touched many, many times during this move and from the beginning of time. What I would expect it to do is potentially, I'm going to draw, potentially go up to this region and come back on a sort of a diagonal into the parabola. So, you know, we might get up to, say, 190 here and then come back down to like 140. And if we're kind of looking at what that is, that's probably going to be one of the fib levels, like a 236, once we start to get quite bullish. And, you know, potentially this run goes to about 250K on BTC. Now, I'm seeing lots of the $1 million, you know, BTC is going to be $1 million. Yes, potentially that could happen. I don't think it's this run. I think potentially we're looking at that maybe 2-3 runs down the track. Stranger things have happened. Governments buying might cause a huge spike in volume in BTC and might just cause that retail sort of havoc to come in. But yeah, so the parabola here, and because we've got this support, we could come back down as low as 100. So essentially going up to 100 and 180, 190, then halving. And that could be like our top could be that sort of, you know, 180 to 200K here, and then coming back down and doing that big dip for the next run. But we look like we've got a strong support building in that region. We can see that that was a strong resistance. It's now hopefully staying a strong support. So, you know, anything after should hold around that 104, hopefully when we come back down the other way.
Okay, well, looking good and optimistic about where Bitcoin's heading and what crypto's doing.
Yeah, so I got these in the mail today, and I've got 2 to give away. So please jump onto all the platforms and let me know why you need this. I'm going to just show you a little bit inside. So this is a pink one, but it comes in blue and grey. So hang on, can we see this?
Let me just
I'll put some photos on. So it's got some quotes to keep it going, and then it's got some like your trading goals. So you'll have yearly targets, daily targets. It's essentially like a very cool. So we've got our weekly reflection, where you go in and you just write your daily, what has happened in your trading, what your goals are, you know, mistakes that you're making. You can go back over the journal, and then you can sort of understand what you're doing wrong and then change it. So then it goes into, hang on, I've got to do it on the right side, portfolio planning. So this is all, that's in GSIC as well. So for anyone in GSIC, head into our portfolio section. But you've got a paper version here, because I know some people are very old school and they love the paper versions. And we go right through to our end of year summary. And at the back, we've got some excerpts from Become a Millionaire in 1 Year, which is my book. There we go. And that takes you through Elliott Wave and Lisa Narchi. So yeah, available on Amazon, but let me know why you want this and why you need this to help you trading. And I've got 2 to give away.
Excellent, very exciting. Already had a comment off YouTube saying, Lisa, I'd love a copy of the journal. I tend to be an emotional trader with poor outcomes, need to become more strategic.
Yeah, so this will help with that as well. So, and I've got my emotions course coming up, which is going to help everyone, because in trading, I'm like so non-emotional in life, very emotional, but I'm a girl. So for men, we seem to find that money is the emotional factor for you guys. So it's a vastly different thing. And that's why women come into trading and they have this laser focus, because we have a different sort of feeling towards money. We're like, okay, I can do this. I need money for this, this, and this. Whereas for men, money is often status, ego, that sort of stuff. So it's getting past your ego. It's getting past like all those sort of deep core wounds where you're going, I'm not worthy of money. I never have enough money. I can't afford this. Just reprogramming your brain and going, I deserve to have this money. I deserve to have the life I want, and I can do this. So that's what my emotions course is going to help you with. And I'm really excited about it.
Excellent. So those trading journals are on Amazon available now. Is that right?
They are. Correct. And they come in pink, grey, and blue.
Excellent. Okay. Was there anything else? I'm just going to take a look around the place, comments, emails. All looks good. Anything else you wanted to cover over this wrap up?
No, I think that's about it. So it's been pretty quiet. So just have patience. Don't over trade, guys, because there's not a lot of trades out there. And I know some of you are living off this, but you know, that's where you have to sort of be quite strategic. When we've got the big runs, you know, make your money there, squirrel some away, and, you know, for a rainy day. And this is basically your rainy day money, and we're going to start moving again. It's not going to stay here forever.
Okay, fantastic. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully it will go up. So excellent. Keep the comments coming in. Another comment saying I keep jumping in late and stepping out too early. That is a very common one. I have tended to do that myself as well. Need more organization and patience. Maybe the journal will help. So I think if you're watching this on replay, do just head over to YouTube, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you are, and just comment. Let Lisa know about your journal thoughts and why it might help.
Yeah, definitely, because it's, you know, the daily inputs that you put into the journal and understanding, okay, I've done this 3 times. How can I change this? And then educating yourself, like if I ladder buy into this and I put an order, say you've got 5 orders and you space those out between, you know, $1, depending on what coin it is. And you take, you know, 20% chunks of that, doesn't pick them all up, you move it to the next trade. So I might just bring a chart up and just explain that a little bit more, because I think that's really important for our late entry traders. And, you know, there's a post in GSIC that explains ladder buying, but it's actually a really important skill, especially in crypto, especially when we start going into the bull run. So let's just jump into that quickly. And so this is ENA. Say I wanted to, you know, I'm entering a spot trade, not a margin trade. I'm entering a spot trade. I'm going to look at sort of a 5% sort of movement. This doesn't look too bad at the moment to sort of enter in this range. Now, we've got a range between 4145 and 3913. So we would put 5 orders in there. So we buy 20% now. We drop it a little bit and buy 20% lower once it drops. We drop it a little bit more, say about 4, buy 20% there. We drop it a little bit more, buy 20% there. And then on our baseline there of 39, because that's a 5%, about a 5%, it's about 6% on that one, but normally about a 5% sort of buy zone on a spot trade. And that dollar cost average to about, you know, you're sort of probably down about 2.5–3% by those ladders by the time it sort of gets down to the bottom. So you're not in a huge deficit. And then because there's a support there, you would have your stop loss sitting at about 5% under there. So if that hits your stop loss, you're about 7% under. So, but you're not going to be all in on that one trade. It's going to be a small portion. So when you are looking at trading, you have the majority of your money in your long term. So you've got 80% in your long term. you have 20% for, you know, leverage and spot trading. So leverage trading should only be about 5% of your total money, 15% in spot. And basically that just means that with that 15%, depending on how much that is of your bags, you could have 15 trades open. So I normally recommend, if you're a beginner, maybe 5 trades, because it becomes quite hard to manage unless you're a pro. But that sort of spreads your risk, because not everything's going to be moving at the same time. And if one coin absolutely dies and it starts jumping stop losses, you don't lose all your money. If we have sort of an event like Luna, you're not going to lose all your money, because stop losses just got jumped there and people just, you know, got liquidated, lost money, you know, on spot and on leverage. So that's why you want to have a very sort of strong strategy as to how you're entering trades, how you're buying into trades, and how you're exiting trades. So depending on what part of the market you're in as well, you want to, so if you're now, you might be exiting, you might have 3 targets, but Bitcoin's a bit dodgy, so you might exit every 100% on target 1. Once it gets a bit more bullish, you might let it go to take 50% profit at target 1, and then 50%, the rest is 100% at target 2. Or you might go, okay, I'm going to let it run a little bit more, leave it a higher risk, have the 3 targets, 50% target 1, the 50% of that balance at target 2, and then the balance that's left, the 100% there, is all out at target 3. So that's kind of how you enter and exit trades and diversify and manage your risk, essentially.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Bit of education there. And I think that's a good place to wrap up the wrap up. Was there anything else you wanted to say or do?
No, that's it. So I think, you know, that's going to help a lot of the new people. And I might clip this out and just put it on, or maybe do one by itself and put it on YouTube.
Sure. And look out for the podcast. We're hoping to have it released on Thursday. Should we give them a little sneaky peek of the intro?
Oh, have you got it?
Maybe, if it works. Let's do it.
Looking for a woman in finance. Crypto, fight for amber eyes. I'm looking for a woman in finance. Crypto, fight for amber eyes. I'm looking for a woman in finance. Crypto, fight for amber eyes. I'm looking for a woman in finance. Crypto, fight for amber eyes. I'm looking for a woman in finance. Crypto, fight for amber eyes. I'm looking for a woman in finance. Crypto, fight for amber eyes. Uncharted. Let's go.
Oh, that's exciting. So yeah, so I'm the woman in finance. So it's no longer, we're not looking for a man in finance, 6 foot, blue eyes. We're now looking for a woman in finance.
There we go. Excellent. So keep your eye peeled across various platforms of Lisa's. You know where to go, and that episode 1 will be out soon. Can we remember what the title of episode 1 was? It was, I've looked at so many of the, so many of them now.
I've looked at so many because I recorded 3 on one day. So, Nothing to Lose. Title 1 is Nothing to Lose.
Nothing to lose. Okay, fantastic. All right, well, thanks everyone for joining us, and have a great week ahead. Get in touch if you need to. Otherwise, keep your stop losses tight, and I hope you're all profitable.
Yeah, we wish you profits. Falling from the air.
See you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.